race. Once upon a time, in a bright little village, surrounded by green hills and tall trees, there lived a curious girl named Lila. Lila loved to explore, and she carried a tiny red backpack wherever she went. Inside were her favorite treasures, a shiny pebble, a feather, and a small notebook where she drew her adventures. One sunny morning, as the birds chirped and the breeze danced through the leaves, Lila heard a soft jingling sound coming from the garden. She followed it carefully, and to her surprise, she found a golden key lying beneath the flower. But this wasn't an ordinary key. It shimmered with all the colors of the rainbow. Wow, whispered Lila, I wonder what this opens. Suddenly, a gentle voice floated through the air. Hello, Lila, I'm Twinkle, the hummingbird. That key unlocks something very special, the rainbow gate. But you must be brave and kind to find it. And Twinkle fluttered her wings, and with a sparkling trail of light, guided Lila toward the edge of the forest. Through tall trees, over bubbling streams, and past a field of daisies, they walked until they reached a giant oak tree. And right in the middle of its roots was a small door glowing with rainbow colors. Lila placed the key into the lock, click, and the door slowly opened. Behind it was a path of light leading to a magical land full of talking animals, floating clouds shaped like castles, and rivers that sparkled like silver. As Lila stepped inside, she met 3 new friends. Milo, the lion who was strong but afraid of the dark. Pip the rabbit who loved to hop but was always in a hurry. Sunny, the turtle who moved slowly but never gave up. Together, they discovered that the rainbow land was losing its colors. The bright reds, blues, and yellows were fading into gray. The rainbow stone is missing, explained Sunny. Without it, our land will stay dull forever. So Lila and her friends set off on an adventure. They crossed a wobbly bridge where Milo roared loudly to scare away the shadows. They hopped across stepping stones in the river where Pip showed the fastest way to go. And when the path became steep and tricky, Sunny slowly but surely led them all to safety. At last, they reached the top of Rainbow Hill. was hiding the rainbow stone inside. Who dares come here? Boomed the cloud. Lila stepped forward. We've come to bring back the colors. Please give us the rainbow stone. The cloud growled, but Milo stood tall. Pip hopped bravely and Sunny stood firm. Together they showed they were not afraid. Then Lila remembered something important. Kindness, she softly said. Cloud, you don't need to be scary. Maybe you're just lonely. Would you like to be our friend? The cloud blinked, surprised. No one had ever asked that before. Slowly it began to smile. It opened up, and inside was the rainbow stone, glowing brightly. With the stone returned to its place, colors rushed back into the land. Red roses bloomed, bluebirds sang, golden sunlight sparkled, and the rainbow stretched high across the sky. The animals cheered, and the cloud, now fluffy and white, floated happily above them. Twinkle the hummingbird appeared again. Well done, Lila, you were brave, clever, and kind. That's the true magic of the rainbow. Lila smiled, holding her friends close, and though she returned home through the rainbow gate, she knew the magical land would always be waiting for her. That night, as Lila tucked her treasures into her red backpack, she asked,
In a shiny candy-colored town, where roads sparkled like rainbow sprinkles and street lamps twinkled like stars, lived a little car named Turbo. Turbo wasn't an ordinary car. He was brave, funny, and full of energy, with headlights that blinked like winking eyes and a horn that honked in cheerful little tunes. Turbo loved zooming through the town, making loops and funny squeaky sounds. But one bright morning he noticed something odd. Turbo exclaimed, the robot city across the glimmer bridge is dark. No lights, nowhere, snow beeps. Turbo knew something had to be done. I have to help, he said, revving his tiny engine and zooming toward the glowing forest where the hidden robot world began. Love discovery of the hidden robot world. As Turbo zipped through twisting candy-colored trees, a sparkling tunnel appeared. Whoa, he said, a secret passage! Through the tunnel, Turbo rolled into a magical robot city full of flying highways, glowing towers, and robots of every size and shape. The robots were friendly, but they looked worried. A tiny robot named Sprocket rolled up. Hello, I'm Sprocket. Our city's power crystal is missing, and without it, the lights, bridges, and highways won't work. Turbo beeped excitedly.
"Don't worry, I'll help find it."
Let's zoom and vroom first friend Turbo met was Flash, a sleek robot with wheels on his feet. "I can move faster than a rocket," Flash said, spinning in a blur. "We need speed to chase clues," Turbo said.
"You're perfect!"
With Flash leading the way, Turbo and the robot zipped through glowing streets, following tiny sparks left behind by the missing power crystal. Next, they found a giant robot named Tank, whose arms were strong as cranes.
"I can lift and push anything."
Tank rumbled, "Need help with heavy obstacles?" Turbo laughed, "You bet! That pile of crashed robot cars looks like your job."
Together, Turbo, Flash, and Tank cleared the rubble, rolling and lifting, laughing all the way.
Finally they met Gizmo, a small robot with blinking lights and lots of gadgets.
"I can unlock tricky locks, fix circuits, and figure out puzzles,"
Gizmo said, adjusting his tiny wrench. Turbo beeped, "Happily with you, we can solve any tricky puzzle." Gizmo examined the clues and discovered the power crystal had rolled into the sparkling river on the edge of the city. Turbo and his friends raced across floating highways, rainbow bridges, and glowing tunnels to reach the river. The water sparkled like melted candy, and the power crystal twirled slowly downstream. "Hang on!" shouted Turbo, revving his engine. Flash zoomed ahead to block the crystal's path. Tank held a floating bridge steady with his strong arms. Gizmo carefully guided the crystal with his gadgets, and Turbo scooped it up with his front bumper. With teamwork, laughter, and clever ideas, they returned the power crystal to the city's heart.
Hush! The city glowed brighter than ever. Lights twinkled, bridges floated, and robots cheered with happy beeps and spins.
Sprocket rolled up.
"Thank you, Turbo! Thank you, friends! The city is safe again."
Turbo honked a happy tune.
See? When we work together, share our talents, and help each other, anything is possible.
The robots laughed, danced, and zoomed around the city. Even Turbo did a little silly spin, making everyone giggle. Turbo learned that bravery is fun, kindness is powerful, and teamwork makes the impossible possible. From that day on, Turbo became the city's favorite little hero, always ready to vroom, zoom, and help a friend in need. And sometimes, when the city lights blink just right, you can hear Turbo's little horn playing his silly tune, reminding everyone that friendship and teamwork create the brightest adventures of all.
Once upon a time, in a village of sparkling sugar houses and rainbow-colored cobblestone streets, there lived a little girl named Bella. Bella was beautiful, kind, and a little funny. Her laugh tinkled like tiny bells, and she had a way of making everyone smile. Even grumpy old Mr. Snail, who lived under the peppermint fence. One morning, as the sun painted the rooftops golden, Bella noticed something strange. The cotton candy clouds that floated above the village were no longer pink and fluffy. They were gray and sad. "Oh no!" Bella exclaimed, twirling a strand of her shiny hair. "If the clouds lose their color, the village will lose its magic." Determined to help, Bella grabbed her rainbow scarf, hopped onto her sparkling cloud bike, and zoomed toward the floating cloud castle, the home of the Cloud Queen, who made all the candy clouds shine. On the way, Bella passed through the talking forest, where the trees leaned low and whispered, The magic paintbrush that colors the clouds has gone missing. Only a heart full of kindness can return it. Bella giggled, kindness is my favorite color. And off she went, following the forest twinkling path. In the Caramel Creek, Bella met a bright orange squirrel named Sunny, juggling tiny caramel drops. "Where are you going, Bella?" Sunny asked, balancing on a sticky branch to find the magic paintbrush. Bella said, spinning around. "I can help," Sunny said. "I have the gift of speed and cleverness. I can climb, dash, and spot anything hidden." Sunny darted ahead, finding a golden feather that glowed faintly. This is a clue. Next, Bella and Sunny reached a marshmallow swamp, soft, sticky, and tricky to cross. "Don't worry," said Tilly the turtle, slowly plodding along. "I have the gift of patience and carrying friends safely. Hop on my shell, and I'll take you through." Bella and Sunny laughed as Tilly carefully carried them across her shell, bouncing gently like a soft trampoline. As the sun dipped low, the sky grew dim. Suddenly, a tiny glow appeared. Flicker the firefly. "I can light the way through the dark," Flicker buzzed. "No shadow can stop us." Bella clapped her hands. "With all of us together, we can do anything." Finally, they reached the floating cloud castle, where a mischievous cloud dragon had hidden the magic paintbrush under a tower of sparkling cotton candy. "Give it back," Bella said, smiling warmly. The dragon frowned. "I just wanted to play. I didn't know it was so important." Bella laughed a little. "It's okay. We can play together. But the paintbrush belongs to everyone. Sharing makes it much more fun." The dragon blinked, then handed the brush over, puffing little clouds in excitement. Bella dipped the brush in rainbow colors and painted the clouds pink, purple, blue, and gold. Sunny, Tilly, and Flicker helped, mixing colors, stirring swirls, and sprinkling sparkles. The clouds floated back over the village, brighter than ever. The candy houses shimmered, the rivers giggled, and everyone cheered. Bella hugged her friends. "See, when we share, work together, and show kindness, magic happens everywhere." The dragon laughed, Sunny twirled caramel drops, Tilly yawned happily, and Flicker lit up the night like a tiny lantern. And from that day on, Bella's happiness cherished. Once upon a time, in a candy-colored village, where the rooftops sparkled like sugar crystals and the rivers shimmered like liquid lemonade, lived a little fox named Lila. Lila was brave, kind, and a little funny. She loved to hop, skip, and twirl through the village streets, making everyone laugh with her silly dances. One sunny morning, as Lila twirled past the lollipop trees, she noticed something strange. She said, twitching her nose, "The flowers aren't dancing today." In this village, flowers weren't ordinary. They danced in the wind and giggled when someone tickled their petals. But today, not a wiggle, not a giggle, not a twirl. "Oh no!" Lila gasped. "Something must be wrong in the dancing forest." Without a second thought, she tied her scarf, tucked a shiny pebble into her pocket for luck, and set off toward the forest. As she stepped into the dancing forest, the trees leaned down and whispered, Lila, Lila, the magic music stone is gone without its song. The flowers cannot dance. The magic music stone, Lila asked, where can I find it? The trees rustled their leaves. Follow the twinkling trail, brave little fox, but beware, only those with kindness in their hearts can pass. Lila grinned, kindness is my favorite thing. And so she skipped along the twinkling trail, humming a funny little tune to keep her spirits bright. Soon she met a bright, rainbow-colored parrot named Pip, sitting on a candy cane branch. Squawk, where are you going? Pip asked, flapping his wings. To find the magic music stone, Lila said, I can help. Pip chirped, I have the gift of hearing faraway sounds. Maybe I can listen for the stone song. And listen he did, his head turning every which way until he squeaked. There! Over the sugarberry hill. Lila laughed, thanks Pip, you're the best. On the hill, Lila found a tiny mouse named Momo, trying to push a giant blueberry up the slope. Need a paw? Lila asked with a giggle. Momo smiled shyly. I'm good at squeezing into tiny places. Maybe I can crawl through the rock cave where the stone is hidden. Together they climbed and crawled, laughing when Momo got stuck for a second and wiggled free. Just as the cave appeared, a soft rumble echoed. Who's there? A voice boomed. Out hopped Bongo, the bunny big and bouncy, with the strongest legs in the village. I'll help you, he said. I can jump and push things if anything blocks our way. With Bongo's strength, Momo's tiny paws, Pip's sharp ears, and Lila's courage and kindness, they entered the cave. At the very center of the cave, a glowing stone shimmered. But oh no, the stone was stuck under a pile of shiny pebbles. Don't worry, Lila said. We can do this together. With teamwork, laughter, and a little bit of careful wiggling, the friends freed the magic music stone. As soon as it was lifted, a beautiful song filled the cave and floated into the forest. The trees swayed, the flowers twirled, and even the butterflies began to dance in sparkling circles. Lila smiled at her friends. See, when we share our gifts, help each other, and work together, we can make magic happen. Pip chirped happily, Momo squeaked in joy, and Bongo bounced up and down. Even the flowers seemed to nod in agreement. From that day on, the dancing forest never lost its music again. And Lila, the brave, kind, and funny little fox, knew that friendship, kindness, and teamwork could solve any mystery, no matter how big or small. And sometimes, just sometimes, when the wind blew just right, you could hear Lila's silly little dance tune floating across the village, making everyone giggle and twirl along with the flowers.
Little Twinkle, happy place.